Don't worry, this isn't as doom and gloom as possibly the title might suggest. I'm not disappointed in Xbox. I'm not disappointed in a lot of things. I think that what Microsoft is doing is really great, and I also think that, they deserve to be given the freedoms to compete the way that everybody else does. I don't think that Sony has the right to dictate how these companies can and should work. I think that that's kind of nonsense, to say the least. But just moving past that, like a lot of people I've noticed today, and I brought this up, it's not coincidence that there's so much hate around Xbox. And for me, it sort of reminds me of 2013. And I asked a few people, I was like, is this on purpose? Is it like, are people really this against Xbox still? Like, I don't understand it. It's so strange to me, right? So in the middle of obviously the CMA declining Xbox's bid to buy Activision, you had you had Game Industry Biz run an article about how 10 years ago today or whatever was the day that Microsoft talked about DRM and we have a console for you and we're always connected and all this stuff, like bringing up all that hatred. And that really doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I feel like Microsoft definitely has done everything they can to get past that, right? Like if you just look at some of the things, even on the outside, right? Like Microsoft, they put everything day and date on PC, and I'm not for that. Like I don't think that that's a very smart thing to do, but they do it. And if you buy one, you get both copies, one on the PC, one on the Xbox. PlayStation is slowly moving to put their things on PC, but if you buy one copy, you still got to buy the other copy, right? Nobody gives PlayStation any crap over any of this, okay? So there is that. There's many other numerous things. I mean, Game Pass with day and date, Sony tries to make that into being a bad thing, which it's obviously not. So I do feel like there is a very distinct sort of difference between what Microsoft and Sony are doing. Sony doesn't really get called out for any of the things that they do, which is weird. So what's kind of got lost in all of this shuffle is that Microsoft reported its second best quarter three for Xbox revenue ever, and Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella discussed the Xbox business during the actual company's earnings call, which I thought was very interesting. So here's the thing, and this kind of ties into the whole Activision thing and what Microsoft is going for. So I said this a while ago. Sony forces people to play by their rules. So much so that they force Sega out of the console business, so much so that they force Nintendo to do something totally different. So much so that Microsoft is attempting to do something different. They're still doing a traditional console, but they have to be able to make money by other means. They have to be able to keep themselves afloat in the industry by doing other things. And I think some of the other things, like putting stuff on PC, Game Pass on different things, on the cloud, all these different things are ways that they can make money, right? Even keeping some things multi-plat. Minecraft, Call of Duty had that gone through, and it still could go through. But all those things earn you money and revenue. And so essentially, had the Activision deal been approved, and even if it does still go out there and kind of gets approved, then what you would have is Microsoft not having to worry about selling as many consoles as Sony, but still being able to make as much, if not more money than Sony, more revenue than Sony, and having more players than Sony and things like that. And I think that was the end goal, and Sony really didn't like that. It's sort of like the good old boys network. Sony been around for a long time and people don't like it. So the company did announce its third quarter fiscal, which ended on March 31st, 2023, and they said revenue from Xbox content and services, which is by far the division's biggest money generator, was up 3%, driven by growth in Game Pass. So we see the Game Pass is still continuing to grow. Now, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella provided some additional comments on Xbox. He said we set third quarter records for monthly active users and monthly active devices, which is important to them. It's like Xbox, I've said this many times, Xbox is a cog in the machine, but not just the only cog. It comes down to everything. Right? That's why they can win without having to beat Sony in sales of a piece of plastic. So he says, across our content and services business, we're delivering on our commitment to offer games more ways to experience the games they love, while revenue from subscriptions reached nearly $1 billion this quarter. So their subscriptions, which they're talking about Game Pass, not other subscriptions here, $1 billion a quarter. quarters, so $4 billion annually already from Game Pass, and people say it's not sustainable or whatever. Complete and utter nonsense. He also talks about this quarter they brought Game Pass to 40 new countries on PC, which is very important, I think, as well, because those people don't have to buy your hardware. They can just access the stuff. Great content remains the flywheel behind our growth. We have now surpassed 500 million lifetime unique users across our first-party titles and have never been more excited about our pipeline of games, including the fourth quarter launches of Minecraft Legends and Redfall. Contrastingly, Xbox hardware revenue was down 30% on the year prior comparable that benefited from increased console supply, according to the company. So overall, the third quarter gaming revenue declined 4% year over year. But again, this is their second best quarter or third quarter ever, and was only beat out by last year's third quarter, right? Because what happened was they were still, if it's ending March, it's going to count that holiday where they had released Forza, they had released Halo, they had released Psychonauts 2, they had released Flight Simulator, so they were selling and had much more in terms of availability and things like that. So a lot of people are kind of doom and gloom on this. It's like, for me, at the end of the day, I feel like Microsoft, people shouldn't be down on Microsoft at all right now. Like, I think that they're gonna, whatever the case may be, I still think they can circumvent what's going on with the CMA, with the UK. Maybe since their big holdup is the cloud, just make sure to pull your cloud infrastructure from over there, right? Like, honestly, the thing that's so kind of frustrating about this is the cloud in business is like 1.7 billion yearly, and it's just such a small piece, smaller than VR. Right, and we all know VR is, it might be cool, but it's very niche, and people, kind of understand that it's not a big deal yet. So yeah, we do see that. It's kind of interesting that this has kind of happened, but it's just like, I feel like there's so much hate around Xbox right now, like almost back to like the 2013 days, and that would be just, I think, pretty damn terrible, to be honest with you. Like, I hope that is not the case going forward, because Microsoft has done so much good for the gaming industry, and it really just kind of bums me out to see that people are kind of just like disrespecting Xbox again on that level of 2013, because it's unwarranted. And I just feel like Microsoft they're doing good things, like, I don't understand, like, you're starting to see the people's masks, right, the faux faces that they put on. Hey, look, Xbox lost this or lost that, and I feel like that was the wrong way to go about things. I don't know, it's frustrating to say the least, but I would love to hear everybody's thoughts and opinions on this. I am Crap Gamer, and this is Crap Gamer Reviews. If you guys enjoyed the content, please leave a like on the video. I would appreciate that. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Crap Gamer out.